Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, oh, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with another special presentation. I am just so excited about these conversations. I call them interviews, but they're conversations. I get to pour into people that I feel inspired by and empowered by, and they do the same for me. And I'm bringing a lot of different people to this camera, and I'm enjoying it. And having said that, I have someone that you need to meet. Needs no introduction. Most of you know him. But I'm going to try. I'm going to take a stab at it. So let's first say he's an entrepreneur. That's where we have to start. He's an entrepreneur. Secondly, he's a multi-award winning adult film star. He works exclusively at times with Falcon Studios. He is the creator, this is the business, of House of Konnor. He is also, it says Cam4 as well. It says he's an ambassador for Cam4 and Max Connor's cams.com. Also a ambassador with FleshJack. So he's busy. We actually decided to do this a couple of weeks ago. He was in Thailand and now he's back. So without further ado, I would like to introduce all of you to Mr. Max Konnor.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm as well as I can be. I'm working like a crazy person, but it's good. It is so good. I just want to say that I am so thankful and honored that you agreed to do this with me.
Absolutely.
Because you're so busy. Like, you're so busy. And I said this to you when I first reached out to you. It's impossible to get to you.
Yeah.
That's just
I be doing a lot. I'm sitting here now. I had to do the interview
you can put it on if you go. Yeah, if it's an iPhone, you can scroll, you can pull the menu down, it'll say focus, and then you put it on do not disturb. It's a little half moon.
All right, hold on.
No problem.
I don't know how to work this.
There you go. Scroll down, drop down.
Okay.
Focus, do not disturb. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and you won't be disturbed. So you were saying that you were like do this interview, you were saying.
I'm working on a really big OnlyFans project that I'm producing, and we start production tomorrow. So I have like all of these models flying in. So my house looks crazy right now. I'm trying to set up lights and get everything ready. So I was like, okay, we'll have to do this in the plant room.
You know what? It's good though. The plant room looks great.
Yeah, my babies.
Yeah, get this. Before we even get into it, I have to read you something.
Okay.
I was looking for a thumbnail today of a picture of you. Mm-hmm. And so, you're very and see, this is what they need to understand. Everybody watching, there are porn stars, and then there are the top tier adult film stars. Mr. Konnor is in the top tier. And I want them to understand that he's heavily decorated. He's won a lot of awards. It hasn't been easy, but he continues to do it. And he continues to bring us people like us that have been celibate for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in August. He brings us a lot of pleasure, joy, fantasy, and we love you for that, Max. We love you for that. So get this, as I was reading and like going through the pictures, an article popped up, and I don't want to trigger you, but this was about, you were in New York City and you were trying to get something made for the AVNs. You were in a particular leather shop. And from what I read, the owner was basically like, you have to leave because from what the article said, I don't have the time nor the staff to watch you.
Mhm.
And I listened to that, and you left that store and you tweeted, and he didn't know who you were.
Mhm.
He didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
And you tweeted, and he came back immediately with a statement because he was asked for a statement, and he gave a blanket statement. And it was like, oh, it's kind of like when people exhibit racism and then you call them out on it, and then they say, no, I have a Black friend. Like, that's kind of what was going on. So first of all, I'm sorry that you had to encounter that, but at the same time, you were a vessel, and I'm going to tell you why you were a vessel and you were being used. So I wrote this. As I read his blanket statement, I said, bullshit. I was like, that's shop. Yes, I did. I said, bullshit. That was the first thing I said. I said, bullshit. The shop issued a blanket statement. What they didn't count on was Max's fame. I said, they should have known who he was. But the sad thing about this incident is that if Max wasn't famous, we would have never heard about this incident. And another Black man would have walked away in silence with new added trauma. So I read that because I wrote that, and I was just like, these things happen. I mean, it's happened to Oprah. She was in a store in Europe trying to buy a very expensive bag, and they telling her, no, this is more, you can afford this, you can't afford that. Then they find out she's Oprah Winfrey, and it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And it was the same situation with you. You go in a store, you're trying to have something made, you're in there to give them business, and he's like, oh, I don't have anybody to watch you around the store, and profiling you. And what I remember the most was that you said, I'm still shaking. I have never experienced anything like that. Yeah. And this is actually a good time. That was actually a good time to be famous, because you were able to call him out on his bullshit. Because I mean, in his blanket statement, he spouted a lot of bullshit. Oh, I've hired, people with HIV, and we weren't talking about that. So now you just equated my Blackness to HIV. Yeah. But see, we're not supposed to be smart like that. We're not supposed to understand like that. So I commend you for staying in character, basically. And I mean character of the nature of who you are, and not tearing that store up and him with it, But,
I didn't have a chance to tear the store up because they kicked me out and locked the door. So
yes, they kicked you out and locked the door. And then immediately you were able to be like, tweet, 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 and oh my God. And it's like, it shouldn't have to be that way. When I go out in my normal life, Max, I don't go out like this. This is for work. I'm a trans illusionist, but I'm very much a Black, effeminate, gay male. So when I go out with my bald head. I'm part of the bald head community too. So it's convenient, it's easy, I ain't gotta worry about it. So I go out with my bald head and in my little, boy, whatever it is, tracksuit or whatever. And I actually enjoy doing that because I get to see the nature of the people around me. I get to see the nature of people in stores. And one thing about it is, because this brand has gone the way that it has, it's also very difficult for me to speak, because once I speak, they hear it. They know exactly who I am from my voice. So I wait, and I'll kind of I'll do the nods and things like that, and just to see how things go. And it's a shame because I even see that in police brutality. They'll brutalize a Black man. There's one case in specific, like, that comes to my mind. They were brutalizing a Black man, holding him hostage, had no reason to hold him, put him in handcuffs. And he said, and he didn't tell them who he was. He said, you guys are making a mistake. You have profiled me. This is incorrect. I want to speak to your lieutenant. So they're not taking him seriously. He's like, why am I in cuffs? Why am I being detained? And we waited for it. The lieutenant shows up. He is in cuffs and he walks over to the lieutenant and says, they have detained me for no reason. I'm in cuffs, no reason. Dig in my back pocket and grab my wallet. They didn't even do that. They dig in his back pocket, Max. He was an FBI agent.
Oh, I think I said, was this a video or did you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I
he
saw
was an
it.
FBI agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is crazy to start the conversation like this, but when I was reading that, it just made me really upset that you had to go through that and endure that, because you bring a lot of joy. And I need people to understand, you bring a lot of joy to a lot of people. A lot of people are thankful that you exist, are alive, and do what you do. And for you to have to, you're our star, for you to have to deal with that, it set me off. I was like, I wanted to know where the shop was. Like, and I'm not a greasy Vaseline person, but I am a writer letter to corporate. I am a Better Business Bureau type bitch. Like, but I think they learned their lesson in that moment, because it was like, oh my God, I didn't know he was this. And then next thing you know, they're being asked for a comment. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So debacles and ordeals. And I'm just glad that it didn't go any worse for you. What bothered me was the fact that it was trauma. And you even said I was shaking after that event, because I had never experienced that kind of thing. And you were in New York, right?
Yeah, in New York. And, gosh, where is it? Like Chelsea?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, like, you know, and one thing about New York is there are a lot of successful Black people in New York. A lot of successful Black people. You never know what those people do, you know? And I must confess, I thought you were on the West Coast. So that's why I was giving you West Coast times when we were talking about this while you were in Thailand. And then you said, oh, I can do 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, oh, he's got to be in New York. He's got to be something, you know? And I'm just like, wow. So moving that aside, Max Konnor, that is the brand. That is who you are. How the hell are you today?
I am wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm keeping busy, which is good. Some might say too busy, but you know, busy is always good. So it keeps you out of trouble.
I agree. I'm always busy. I agree. Like, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I had an interview that ran late, got to bed at 1:30 because I needed to make sure it was right. I mean, 3:30, needed to make sure it was right. And then said, you know what, let me sleep here, get up. And it takes me a while to get into this. So I got up at 1, I got up at 11, was ready at 1 to start. By 3, I'm ready. So I was just like, you know what, after this, I'm going my Black ass back to sleep.
Yes.
So people don't
I
understand
need to catch a nap at some point today.
Yes. People don't understand the entrepreneurial demand.
Yeah. So I have these models all coming in tomorrow. So hopefully I get everything done before they all get in. Because I want to go and greet them at the airport and take everybody out to eat tomorrow night. But I'm really excited about this new project. It's been a lot of work.
Tell us about it. What you can.
Without saying too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say what you can.
Basically, I have scoured the internet and have found a group of amazing content creators who I feel will be the next big thing. So it's a curated list of content creators, up and coming content creators that I am flying all out here. And we will be in production for 2 weeks, filming a bunch of content with these guys. It's a part of my effort to kind of be able to showcase my producer side and being able to produce content without actually having to be in all of it.
I get it.
Yeah. So, because I'm getting old, I'm tired.
Max, I'm 39. I'll be 40 in September. Listen, I'm just like, I feel you on that. My knees don't work the way they used to. My knees don't work the way they used to.
Yes. But the name of the project is called The Rising Stars. We have a great lineup of guys. We have a lot of fly-in models, and then we have like a local week where we do all locals. And without putting a generic like cultural stamp on it, I did want to start off with up and coming Asian creators, because I just feel like, with uh, the content that you see on the internet now, I want to start this series focusing on Black content creators, Asian content creators, because no shade, white content creators, they start and somebody will come and pick them up and show them the ways. And then, they are bustling with followers and subscribers and things like that. But a lot of the Black and Asian content creators don't have that, especially Black content creators. I've seen a lot of my peers who have been doing this for, 8, 10 plus years, who at the end of it all just really has nothing to show for it, because we don't get that guidance. We don't get the how you budget your money, how you create a solid brand, how do you, take your brand from just being sex and elevate it beyond that, which is always, I have my models that I mentor, and that's something that I always tell them. I'm like, if your brand equals dick and ass, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Because there's always going to be somebody with better dick. There's always going to be somebody with better ass. So what can you do to elevate beyond that? Which is all about what I call humanizing your brand, becoming a person to people. It's like, people subscribe for dick and ass. They stay because you're a decent human being.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And that's actually, I've been interviewing all kinds of people, famous fashion designers and everything. But I started with the adult film community because my effort was to humanize them. They're the fantasy, they're the fetish, but but everybody wants to come down on them for what they do. And it's like, I don't subscribe to that same mentality. These people are beautiful. These people are beautiful people that I love and adore. People that have, like I said, who have given me content that helped me sustain myself for 10 years while I worked on my brand, while I humanized my brand. So it's my way of giving back. And I just want to say, you are so kind because you are using your brand and your star is bright in the industry. And to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to help these people out. First of all, that's not done. That's unheard of. Because in the industry, there are only so many token Blacks that they're trying to get everything they can get for themselves before they are, put out to pasture and another one brought in. So, and that's one thing that I notice about you, and I want to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question here. But one thing that I've noticed about your brand is you have staying power. You have tested and lasted much longer than a lot of creators. And I want to ask you, how did you manage to do that? How did you manage? Because that's to your credit that you managed to do that at all.
So this is one of the big things that sometimes I discuss with the models that I mentor. I kind of give it a baby boy reference, in this industry, there's guns and there's butter. And a lot of what people, a lot of the advice that some of these content creators are ingesting or getting told is methods to making quick money, which is good and fine. But I'm more so interested in things that create longevity. And I think most of that has to do with what I was talking about before, finding ways to optimize your brand so that your brand exceeds just sex.
Yeah.
A big goal of mine is when people think about Max Konnor, they don't just think, oh, porn star,
Right.
but a porn star and this, you know?
Right.
And so I've tried to, you know, extend my brand beyond just doing sex. So I have, you know, a House of Konnor. I'm working on a few television shows
Yeah.
now. I am very vocal in my activism and just giving back whenever I can. Um, and I try to be as professional as I can. And I grow relationships with the people, you know, that I work with. You know, I always tell models, it's not about being the hottest thing, but, you know, say for instance, if I'm directing for a studio, I'm not hiring the hottest models. I'm hiring the models who I've encountered that treat me with respect, whose energy agrees with mine, who makes me feel safe, and whom I know I'm going to have a good work day with.
Yeah.
It might not be the best for the job, but they're the best for my nerves.
Yes.
You know? And
Yes.
so it's why I always say, like, professionalism will really get you far away. And it's about building relationships.
Yes. You know, our queen of daytime television right now, shout out to her, Miss Wendy Williams. She always says when she is speaking that most companies will take number 2 because they don't want to deal with the drama and the diva of number 1.
Yep.
So they will very quickly say, you know what? No, because it's too much drama. It's too much diva. We will take number 2. And she was actually the one that taught me that. And I realized that, yeah, they will take number 2 real quick because they don't want to deal with the demands of number 1. Max, you are so like, I have heard, because we have people like our sphere of influence. We have people that we know. Someone that I love, I was going to say his real name, but you know his real name. His name is Mariano, but he's known as Papi Suave. That's my baby. He's from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. So we know each other, and he has nothing but the most glowing things to say about you. Like, and I love that. He's like, Max is a sweetheart, you know, like it's so amazing to hear that. And I've been hearing that for years now. It has never changed. It has never changed. Your level of professionalism, your level of respect for other people, it has never changed. So get this, let me segue real quick. Where were you born? Where are you from?
I was born in Clinton, Maryland. But then when I was like 8, maybe 7 or 8, we moved to Albany, Georgia. And so I grew up in Albany, Georgia. And then in 2006, I moved to New York to go to college. And then I just stayed here because I majored in musical theater performance. And so New York was, you know, the place for me to be. So 16 years later, I'm still here.
Wait a minute. You majored in what? Musical what?
Musical theater. That's what I did before I started porn.
Max. Ah. I usually don't get like that. Ah. To me, that was a golden nugget surprise. Because it's just like people need to understand. See, this is what I'm trying to do even with my platform. Adult film stars, singers, models, actors, dancers, it's all the same business. Because we literally all do the same thing, entertain the public. There is no difference, Max. And that's why I bring such beautiful people to my camera. And you just surprised me. You just surprised me. It was a lovely, like India Irie wrote, a beautiful surprise. So you can sing and dance and act.
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
My God. This is
I'm a little rusty, but
you say you're a little rusty? Well, you're getting ready to do a movie. So you said you have several movies in the works. So you better come on now.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is so wonderful. So you graduate and you stay because New York is the way and the
Yeah,
place to be for musical performance and, you know, theater and everything like that. So
yeah.
before the porn comes in and you become super uber successful, so to the point where you have to make a decision like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this because this is the vehicle. What were
Mhm.
some of the things you did? Like, what were some of the roles you had?
So I was in a bunch of tours. I started with the Negro Ensemble Company. I was with the Negro Ensemble Company for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then I did some off-Broadway shows. I can't remember all the shows that I did.
Okay.
And then I started doing something that I thought I never wanted to do, which was television.
Yeah.
And so for the last 2 years of my acting career, I was doing a lot of television. I did Gotham, Madam Secretary, a whole
Gotham was
bunch
a
of
good
stuff,
show.
whole bunch of stuff.
Gotham was a great show.
Yeah, Gotham was a
Oh,
really good show.
Gotham.
And it was a very fun show. It was a very fun set.
Yes. And you were,
Yeah. And then it was, let me see, it's 2017.
mm-hmm.
And I had just done a pilot for NBC. It was called Salamander.
Okay.
And we shot the first episode, the
Mm-hmm.
pilot episode. We didn't get picked up. And that was the moment where I was just like, okay, I'm getting tired. I'm getting older,
Uh-huh.
tired of having the dream job for 6 months and then trying to figure out what's happening from there. And I wanted more stability.
Right.
So I came up with the crazy idea that I would do porn. Everybody thought I was going nuts. So it was like, what in the world are you talking about? You just did a pilot for NBC and you want to go do porn? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can make it work. And everybody thought I was crazy. I started doing my little OnlyFans vids, which I don't know how my OnlyFans vids became popular when I started because they were horrible, absolutely horrible. But people liked it anyway.
We still like it to this day, Max.
Well, it's got a little bit better.
It's got a lot better, but yeah.
And then a studio, well, there's two studios who wanted to hire me after I started coming out with the OnlyFans content, and they went into like this battling war. Oh, they'll pay you this, we'll pay you that, and they kept going back and forth.
Bidding war.
Yeah. Until I finally chose one, and then it all began. It just kind of all blew up from there. I never expected it to get as big as it got, but here I am.
Do you know, I can only imagine where all of those people that were doing the audition circuit with you are right now. Because get this, I want people to understand the Max Konnor brand is so large that most straight people know you as well as our community.
Yeah.
That name, they have seen you in some capacity. And honestly, I'm just going to say it, for Black stars, it doesn't happen that way. But it happened for you, and it was a gift, but you were born to it. You were ordained to do it. It was your destiny. And such a beautiful destiny. I just didn't even know that. So you go with the studio, and how do they treat you? I mean, did you have to deal with the token Black issue at all when you got in? Or was it no, you're special, we see it in you, we're going to give you everything you need, every creature comfort?
There has been certain experiences, certain situations that weren't the best, but for the most part, there really wasn't any alarming things that made me say, oh, this is, not a great situation that you're in. When I first started out, I just had to kind of, set my boundaries. There was a company that I worked for that named one of my videos Big Black Daddy. I had to sit down and talk with them and tell them how this is not right. And I'm not one of those people that get mad at white folks for doing some wrong shit.
Right.
I just educate them.
Yes.
And be like, don't make this mistake again. But I do it in a way, we have a tendency, especially when we want amens and likes and comments and views. We
Mm-hmm.
have a tendency to try to blast people
Yeah.
and call on pitchforks of all of our fans to go in and blast these people instead of just sitting down and having a conversation.
Right.
You know? So I like to have conversations
Yeah.
and to educate people.
Yeah.
And that garners more respect.
It does.
You know?
It does.
So like I was telling somebody, if I have a relationship with this director, I can go to this director and say, hey girl, what you did was messed up. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
And they'll listen to me.
Yeah.
And they'll respect what I'm telling them because
Yeah.
I've built that relationship with them.
Yeah.
I ain't go on Twitter, I ain't go on social media
Yeah.
and tell people that this person is a racist and this person is this and this person is that. No, I had a conversation with this person.
Yeah.
And now this person knows what boundaries not to cross, what not to say, how to represent a Black person in the industry. Yeah. And I feel like that's my purpose inside of the porn industry.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm honored to be able to pave the way in these big mainstream companies and show them that Black men are beautiful. Yeah. We can get the job done. Yep. And these are the boundaries that you should not cross.
Right, Max, right. You know, it's so surreal because your approach, it garnered a lot of respect in your industry, in this industry of entertainment. People respect you a lot, Max. Trust me, I'm not a messy girl, but people will say, because I have a light about me, so I don't go digging and stuff like that. That's why I say these are conversations. But I have heard, like, every single person was like, this man is amazing. This man is kind. This man is, beautiful. He really looks like this. He really acts like this. He really is this. And I'm just like, okay. Like, and I, for a long time, even before I had this platform for YouTube and my website, I wanted to sit down and talk with you and just praise you, because there was somebody that said to me, just in passing, they were like, a little birdie told me that you don't promote Max. You never show him when you're, posting the guys on your pages. You never pull up Max. And, they didn't say you had a problem with it, but they brought it to my attention. You never promote him, like you never show him. And my response was, I don't know which account is his. You have so many people that literally, and I mean, get it. It's not, oh, this is Max Konnor with 10 pictures. This is Max Konnor with 100 pictures on his page. And then you go to reach out and they don't respond because they're not you. Yeah. So I didn't want to, perpetuate these people's fake pages by posting your content. But trust me, I follow you heavily. I need you to know that I follow you heavily. So I just didn't know which social media handles were actually yours. Yeah, because I have a lot of
so many fake ones.
Yeah, would you say it again, please?
It's so many fake ones. So many.
Too many.
I have an Instagram account now that's been up for at least a good 2 years. I've been trying to get it taken down. But they've swindled people out of big money. And I'll have people messaging me on my real Twitter saying, oh, I paid you $3,000 and you're supposed to meet me on this day. Why aren't you answering me? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but this is not me. And I don't care how many times I go on my social media and tell people, I will never ask you for money.
Right.
So if you're talking to somebody and they ask you for money, I wouldn't ask you for money and I don't escort. So if you're talking to somebody and they're asking you for money or gift cards and stuff, it's not me.
Wow. Wow. Like that in itself, that's a black hole. That's a black hole.
I'm like, subscribe to my OnlyFans, subscribe to every platform I have you subscribe to, but I'm never going to say, hey, send me $3,000.
Right. Oh my God. And a lot of these, and I love that you're mentoring young content creators of color and of ethnicity, because, you know, it's kind of funny because when I was in Paris 17 years ago, I was 22 years old. I got the opportunity to go to Paris as a fashion model. I was there 6 months, and I would go around to a lot of the agencies, and it really was a big boys club. It depended on who you knew. I shot with a really famous French photographer, and 3 agencies were interested and signed me. But before that moment happened in my career, I went to an agency, and they loved my smile. They loved my look, but they literally said to my face, here in France, we don't have a Black or an Asian market. Black people and Asian people don't buy couture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what about, and so I'm looking, and, you know, I came there, I was coming into it. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but it's my body type. I can wear women's clothing very well. They actually wanted me to do that towards the end of my stay. And so I'm like, well, what about Naomi Campbell? What about Leah Kabidi? What about Alucci? What about Deborah Shaw? What about all these, you know, Pat Cleveland, all these models that are working, that are of color? Cecily Lopez, like, what about, you know, they told me, oh, those are just happenings, you know, but we really don't have a Black market here. So then I came back to the States, and I'm like, all these Black people running out here for Gucci and Pucci and Valentino and Michael Kors, and I'm saying all of them, you know, and most of those brands, with respect, I'm just saying with respect, I love the brands, I'm a fashion girl, but most of them brands aren't created to fit a robust, muscular Black man. They're not, if you got any muscle on you anywhere, it's not meant to fit you. I've even had people say, oh, you're going to do well because your ass isn't that big. And I'm looking like, most men's asses of color, they're muscular. Yeah. They're not just out there. Yeah. And most of them can fit really good jeans. Black boys, Black men wear skinny jeans all the time, you know, fitted clothing. And that was something that lit a fire in me. That was 17 years ago, but I started immediately showing more, like on MySpace, then I went to Facebook, and then Instagram, compiling a list of Black creators, because it was like, what do you mean? And it's even an endeavor now that my business and my brand is what it is. It is part of my agenda is to bring the muscular Black man to the fashion hall. Wear suits, wear all of this stuff. Like literally, sample size, most people cannot fit sample size. Yeah. They can't. So it's like, listen, these men look great in suits, great in Speedos, great everywhere. Karl Lagerfeld, may he rest in peace, when he was younger, he did an entire book of photography, photographs dedicated to Black men. So if Karl Lagerfeld could be who he was, and he is and will forever be an icon in the fashion community, if he could see the necessity and the beauty in Black men, why can't the rest of the industry? And I mean all the industry. I mean movies, music, you know, everything. Before he left, he signed exclusively Alton Mason, young Alton Mason Jr. to Chanel. And this boy is gorgeous. And it's just like, it's unfortunate, but I'm working on it. So I'll digress from that, because that is, you know, it's just the presence. Because, you know, I see that with the avians and Gadians, you know, you know, I see that, you know, and I hear so many content creators that are like, child, they wasn't paying us no mind, you know, and I want to clear this up too. Because then you hear a lot of people saying, and I was just saying it so you would understand me, but I don't mean it in any way, shape, or form of the word. But you'll hear them say, oh, well, he's a token Black person. He's the token entertainer. No, he's not. He's a Black person that, for whatever reason, call it destiny, call it anointing, call it purpose, he was able to scale that wall. Yeah. And get there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I've It's been hard. It's been a hard journey
I know,
because
Max, I know.
while I do, I'm very vocal about being a Black man in this industry.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me has been seeing people who look like me trying to tear me down.
Yeah.
And I just like, I'm not bothering nobody.
Yeah.
I mind my business.
Yeah.
And like very early on, there were a lot of people in our community that was calling me a coon and an Uncle Tom and all this stuff, particularly because I think a lot of people take issues with I don't exclusively have sex with Black men on film. And a lot of people don't understand that those 20-minute videos that you look at, people look at the 20-minute video or they look at a 20-second clip and think they know your entire life. And I'm just like, girl, this is work. Just the same like you go and punch the clock. What I do outside of work is what I do outside of work.
Right.
And it's not your business.
Right.
But it's been very hard. It was very hard in the beginning, particularly because like there was a video that I did for, I'm sorry, hold on, I gotta wipe my nose. My allergies.
Take your time. Listen, I thought I was gonna cough. That's why I grabbed this water. Listen.
My allergies have been full blast and I can't take my allergy medicine because I figured it out the hard way, but it's drowsy. I took 2 of those things the other day. I was knocked out for 2 days. I swear to God, it was like.
And you're sitting in the pollinated plant room, Max. I don't want to kill you. You're
sitting
in the plant room.
You didn't want to see the rest of the house right now. So
okay.
The allergies kill me.
No, but you were saying.
No, so I did a scene for, it was a company called Peter Fever.
Okay, I know the company.
And it's an Asian porn company.
Yes.
And so I did a parody for them, and it was called, what was it called? Gay Vengers.
Okay.
And I played T'Challa.
Okay.
And there was one part in the scene. It wasn't scripted. It was totally impromptu.
Okay.
It was a parody, so it's supposed to be funny and goofy.
Right.
So as I'm coming, I say Wakanda forever. That was the reaction that I expected from the world.
Oh my God!
What do you say? We even had to redo the cum shot because even the cameraman fell out laughing.
Okay.
And so, I was in character.
Right.
So after the video comes out, about a week after.
Okay.
This was.
I'm sorry, you didn't took me out. I'm sorry. I'll get it back together. That was hilarious. That's hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So a week after the video comes out, somebody has taken the clip, just that part.
Right.
Oh no. All right, I'm about to go get my charger in a second.
That's okay. Take your time. We'll sit here and wait.
All over the place. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna finish the story. One second. I don't want to lose you.
That's okay. Take your time. Wakanda forever. Oh God, guys, this is a good one. I enjoy it.
It's a running joke with everybody because I'm always on my phone, that my phone is always dying.
Well, we're in the dispensation of time where entrepreneurs are running their entire businesses from their phones now.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. I understand that
I ordered a new iPhone, but somebody stole it, and so now I'm waiting for another one.
Oh, you know why they stole it, Max? For your contacts.
Well, no, they stole the new one.
Yeah. Oh, did it have contacts in it?
Phone. No.
Okay.
Because they mailed it.
Oh.
And either the delivery person stole it or somebody. Sometimes packages go missing from downstairs.
Right.
They've been working on it. Like they tell people when they deliver packages,
don't just
not
leave them.
to leave it, but to bring it up.
Yeah.
And it just depends on if whoever delivers it wants to walk up the stairs, because I don't have an elevator.
Yeah, New York, you have to walk up the stairs.
Yeah. All right, so let me finish.
Yes, please do. Okay. Please do.
So, A week after the movie comes out, some hater takes this clip, okay,
Yes.
and they crop it. First of all, this is the first thing I couldn't get over. They crop the clip, so all you see is me and these little white feet dangling. And I say, Wakanda forever.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so people started calling me a coon. It was a really big thing. There was one person who has this whole blog, YouTube blog, that made a video about it to let everybody know that, Max Konnor is a coon. Because how dare I say Wakanda forever while fucking a white man? And so I was like, okay, first of all, I understand it's not a Black person, but it's also not a white man. This is a full-on Asian, boy.
Yes.
Second of all, I was hired to do a parody.
Right.
Third of all, a lot of people might not hold so I'm going to tell you my opinion on the Black Panther movement.
Right.
A lot of people might not agree with me.
That's okay. You're entitled to your
This
opinion.
was not the first cinema movie
Right.
that has had an all-Black cast.
Right.
Okay. And so when people saying, how dare you say Wakanda forever while fucking a white man? I'm like, first of all, he's not white. I was like, second of all, you're getting mad because I quoted a fictional place from a fictional story presented to you as a great Black hope by the white man.
Right.
I was like, I can, there are so many more offensive things that I could do. So I didn't agree with how people were calling me out and calling me a coon and blah, 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 blah. I came on, I made a whole 3-part video.
Yeah.
Just talking to people as genuinely and sincerely as I know how, because after it went on for a while, I was in LA when I hit the precipice.
Yeah.
And I walked outside of my house in LA and I stood in the middle of the street and I was just weeping and sobbing and crying because I didn't know what to do. It was the first time in my life where all my life I knew, especially growing up in Albany, Georgia, I knew that some white people just did not like me because of the color of my skin. Right. And that's something that I've had to live with my whole life. As a Black man, that's something you deal with. Right. When you're in a situation that's not, comfortable or safe for you. Right. I never experienced people who looked like me act that way towards another Black person. Yeah. And it was a lot for me to process. Yeah. And I've done my best to be somebody who can represent being a Black man
in a white world.
In a white world could be, Yeah. I've done my best to, and of course you make mistakes along the way.
Yes,
but you learn from those mistakes.
They're lessons.
And those mistakes that I've made also give me the right and the authority to mentor young Black men, because I've been there, I've done it. I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you where not to go. I can tell you, because I've made those mistakes and I'm not ashamed of the mistakes that I made.
You shouldn't be.
So I'm standing in the middle of the street and I'm sobbing and I'm crying because here I am thinking that I am being like, a life for young Black boys who say, the young Black boy might be looking at point like, oh, I want to do this. Yeah. And I want to be that example of, yes, you can do this. And you can do it better and greater than I did,
I doubt it, but okay.
And it hurt me.
Yeah.
It hurt me bad. So I went in and I made this 3-part video. And I was just real with people. But at the end of the day, I said that I apologize.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not apologizing because what I think I did, I'm not apologizing because I think what I did was wrong.
Right.
But I'm apologizing to anyone if I offended you.
Yes.
Because
You
it's
know what?
never my intention to do that. And so about once or twice a year,
Okay.
there are these certain people. I've blocked a lot of gay Black Twitter, I'll be honest.
You gotta.
Not because I wanted to show them
Right.
or say, oh, you want to talk about me, I'm going to block you.
Right.
I block them to preserve my mental stability.
Right.
Because I am in control of my energy.
Right.
And what I consume and what I take in.
Yeah.
And then I block it so I don't have to see it, so I don't have to consume it.
Yeah.
Because after a while, subconsciously, that stuff starts to eat at you.
Yes, it does.
And it changes you.
Yep.
And you don't even notice it until it's too late.
Yep.
But anyway, there's these certain people who bring it up like clockwork every year. Every year they bring it up. And then, people say that I don't fuck Black men or I don't make content with Black men, which is not true. My whole thing is like diversity and inclusiveness.
Yes.
So I don't exclusively fuck just Black men.
Right.
I make content with every shape, color, size, because I'm very big on that. Yeah. And I want to make it to where when people look at the video, they don't say, oh, this is an interracial video. Oh, he's, with an Asian. Oh, he's with a Black person. Oh, he's with a white person. I want people to look in and say, these are two beautiful humans sharing in an experience, know?
Yeah.
So, they say, oh, well, he doesn't make content with Black people, which isn't true. I do. It's just not every single video.
Right.
And then I think it was probably about 6 or 8 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I made, this was before I even did porn, this video with one of my friends. He had just started dating someone. And like us, he was a performer, so he was away on tour during the show.
Right.
And so he wasn't really comfortable with an open relationship with his boyfriend. But he knew that his boyfriend and I were really good friends who occasionally had sex.
Right.
And so he was like, okay, I'm away. I'm going to let my boyfriend go have sex with his friend. But I want them recorded so I can see it. Right. And so we did that. Later on down the line, years later, 6, 7, 8 years later, I started doing porn.
Right.
And then my friend started doing porn, doing OnlyFans and things like that.
Right.
And so he hits me up and asks me, hey, remember that video we made years ago? I'm like, yeah, for your boyfriend. He's like, yeah. He was like, you mind if I edit this and upload it? I was like, sure. I never seen the video.
Right.
I never put it on my page. I never had access to the video, but I gave him permission to post it. About a year and a half ago, somebody finds this video. Haters dig. They dig hard.
Yes, they dig hard.
I didn't even got this video. And so somebody said, oh, well, you got a video with this boy calling you a nigga. I was like, no, I don't. Why are you saying this? I was like, really like,
right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
And then so somebody went, found the clip, edited it, cut all the rest of the parts out, and posted it on the internet. And sure enough, there he was there. He was like, oh, yes, nigga, give me the blah, 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 blah. And so, a lot of people started, oh, you need to explain this and all this stuff. I was like, first of all, I don't have to explain anything to anybody.
Oh,
but
God.
I will, because this is something that I do need to apologize for. I was like, this was 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Right.
I was a little boy.
Right.
I was probably like smoking blunts and high and didn't even notice that, what I'm saying? First of all, I was in a safe space. This is my friend. This is my friend. And he did something that is not acceptable.
Right.
And I should have schooled him then, but I didn't. And I'm sorry for that.
Right.
Do I feel bad about it? No. I was a child. It was so many years ago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what was going through my head at that time.
Yes.
But that wasn't enough. And so this is the thing about Twitter, and especially gay Black Twitter. If I call someone out on Twitter, I'm calling them out so that there can be some sort of process of them owning up to what they did, accepting it, apologizing, making a change or whatever.
Right.
What people have to understand is most of the time with cancel culture, especially on social media, people aren't looking for whoever they're calling out to apologize and to change.
Right.
They are simply doing it to drag, get likes. There's no outcome. They don't want you to fix the situation.
Right.
Because if you fix the situation, they don't have anything to talk about.
Exactly.
So every year, like clockwork, once or twice a year, that video resurfaces, somebody brings it back up. I guess they're like, oh, Max Konnor isn't taking any heat right now. Let's turn it back up, you know?
Right.
And every year, I would go through it with these people, through month-long debates with these people, you know, about the same stuff. And then the next year, they'll bring it back up like I've never addressed it. And I have to go through it all over again every year. Until it was last year, winter of last year, where I was just like, you know what? I am going to release myself from this. I don't have to explain this anymore. And it has been the most freeing thing. I had to learn and I had to grow into it. Because a lot of people, you know, understand, I never expected to garner the level of fame that I have.
And you are famous.
And so it's been an education for me.
Yeah.
It's been a journey for me. You know, I wasn't prepped to be famous.
Right.
I had to, like, you know, develop myself and develop my brand into that.
Yes.
And so I kind of had to just step back and be like, all I can do is be who I am and let that show for itself.
Yeah.
But I can't keep giving these people my energy. I can't keep letting them like destroy my mentals. Like, you know, I was thinking to myself, I've dealt with this for the past 4 years. So I'm like, subconsciously, there has to be some damage done there.
Yes.
And so I've been trying to like just focus on getting back to some of like just that piece of who I was before I started. And I think that's what keeps me grounded. And allows me to continue to treat people like people should be treated.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I could be a miserable, mad little thing, you know,
Right.
but I choose to not let that affect me. And I have to believe in what I'm doing, and I have to believe in the purpose that I've given myself within the industry. And I know who I am. I know I'm not a coon. I know I love my people, and I know my people love me, you know?
You know, I'm upset, but I want to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
Do you have a therapist?
I do not. And I was
Listen.
actually talking to somebody. I was like, I do, yeah, need to.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Not necessarily because there's something wrong with you. You know, Black folk and therapy, they don't mix. I've had 15 years of therapy. When you are in the public spotlight, especially the way that you are, because you're a huge star. What you have to do is have that safe space to go talk to somebody who's a professional, who will not run their mouth, who is by oath and by law, they can't say anything. And it just, the fame is just so difficult to deal with. You know, I've had, because I have like celebrity friends and psychics and things like that. And one of my buddies, Boots Tarot, he read me for like an evening. It was like an evening with Boots, and he read me. And what he said to me, he was like, does your fame scare you? And I was like, yes, because when I was younger, see, like I said, I'm 39, I'll be 40 in September. When I was younger, when I was 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, oh, hell yes, I wanted fame, because I had never succeeded in my life at anything. I had come from the bottom and I was clawing my way to the top, and I had never had success that I could hold in my hand. So my thing was, I knew I had all of these gifts, but they were still out of whack. I wasn't in control of them. So I knew that I had it in me, but it was more so to be able to look at those people in their faces and say, see, you talked about me like a dog, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm this. And what happened is, as I started to keep the therapy and continue to grow and actually do something that garners fame, like it's not, oh, I'm famous for no reason. Actually do something that brings notoriety, I realized fame isn't something I'm interested in, but I have it, but that I don't owe these people any explanation. Now, mind you, I have a podcast and I talk about all my pain. I talk about all the things that bother me because my attitude is, I'm gonna make a coin from it. I'm gonna make a coin from it. You know, the greats among us, they make coins from situations like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Flat out. And that's how I deal with it. But I want to tell you something, and I want you to understand this. The animosity that you are facing at times is not really animosity. It's envy. It's envy, Max. It's envy and jealousy. Because you are so far on the other side of the spectrum that they can't touch you. And they don't know how you did it because you haven't come out with your book and said, this is how I did it. Now, recently, yes, there was a documentary, Being Black in Gay Porn, that came out, but there is no Max Konnor, this is how I did it blueprint. And but get it, that's what they want from you. And they're not supposed to get that until you decide you're done. That's a memoir. That's a memoir. So my thing is, it's unfortunate, but these people want to be you, baby. These people want to be you. And if I got to be the first one to tell you that, then I'm going to tell you that on camera. These people want to be you, because when Max Konnor comes on screen, that's a polished brand and machine. That the brand, it is uber professional. You're not about to be in some cops and robbers back alley hood. I'm just saying it. Back alley hood, running through the neighborhood, fucking somebody in the alley. No, there's production. There's a script. There's lighting. There's a director. Like, they're jealous. They're jealous. And what I'm so glad that you are not allowing their jealousy and their hatred to really alter your ability to even continue to do what you love to do. Because it'll get to you.
We at a certain point, people ask me all the time, it's like, how do you deal with that? What do you think about it? And I'm just like, okay, here's the thing. I was like, cancel culture, haters and all that stuff. And, they've been trying for forever. And I know they just sit around and say, we've been trying to get rid of this man for forever. And each year, like the brain just keeps growing. And it does the exact opposite of what they thought they were. They thought they were going to shut me down. And I look at people and I always tell people all the time, I was like, the problem with cancel culture is you can't cancel what you never ordered.
You better tell them, Max.
You can't cancel what you never ordered. I was like, these people don't pay for my porn. They don't watch my porn. So how are you going to cancel me?
Exactly.
You never put money in my pocket anyway. So keep on talking.
You better talk about it. You better talk about it. You better talk about it, because I even had to break up. Like, there's a reason with my Instagram that I just went ghost, because I had I have a huge following. People live for my words and my inspiration. But it was like, either continue to do this, make no money, or change it and go to a monetized platform. Change everything. And that's one thing that I'm good at. I'm a prodigy. That's how I do what I do.
Yeah, because I used to watch you on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, listen. Listen. Bitch, yes, I had an analyst, a financial analyst, and looked at my career, and they was like, honey, if you keep doing this, you're gonna be in a poorhouse. I said, time to go. It was time to go, because what I noticed, and it's not just us, low vibrating people, that can be any color, low vibrating people will just watch you wherever they can. They won't assist, they won't endorse, they won't fund, they'll just stare at you. Yep. And I had to tell my following, sweetheart, I thank you for your support, but I need you to get out of these front row seats because I need paying customers to sit here. Mm-hmm. Flat out. Mm-hmm. As I prepare to move back to Europe and take my career to Paris and Spain and Germany and the Netherlands and London, these people ain't coming with me.
Yeah.
You didn't invest one thing into me.
Yeah.
I can count on my hand, this hand, how many people have invested in my career. And honestly, Max, they were all I needed.
Yep.
They were all I needed. Funded me it was years, funded me. And those 5 people, all I needed. And I did it. And I did it. And I'm so glad that we get to have this conversation because people respect you and people respect me. So they are actually going to sit and listen to what you have said and what you have to say. First of all, you got a bad rap. It's not deserved. So I'm glad that you don't focus on it because you got to do what you've got to do because you have to live your life. This is your legacy. And when you retire, hopefully many, many, many moons from now, you'll be able to say, listen, I did this and I did that and I did this. And that's another thing, and still have be intact and be, because I'm going to say this. I love Black men, Black and Latin men. I love them. Mm-hmm. They are something that I will always endorse. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, there is a lack of a level of professionalism when they create, which is why they come to me. And when I offer social media brand counseling, they paying me $250 for 60 minutes to help them get themselves on track. That's why they're doing that, because they kind of have this attitude, not all, but they have this attitude as, oh, I'm gonna just throw something up here.
Yep.
And it's like, no, sweetheart, that's not how you last. Like successfully last, you can't just throw something up here. It has to be treated. It has to be curated. It has to be done a certain way. You have to make sure, then distribution, then promo.
Yep.
Like it's just so much that goes into it. And, I stopped, like literally, I tell people, I'm not interested in fame. Give me my coin.
Yep.
Give me my
Absolutely.
coin. Absolutely. My coin. Like my coin, at the end of the day, like I've had people say some very hurtful, disparaging things about me, but they didn't know me. They didn't know me, but I made mistakes before I was a Queen of Shade. I made mistakes. I did. And even as a Queen of Shade, I've made mistakes. I'm human. I'm human. But at the same time, what I say, they don't know me. So I don't owe them an explanation. The person that I need to forgive for the mistake is myself.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg said it best. I was listening to, I don't know where I heard her say this quote from, but she was just getting really deep and serious. And she was like, look, you can say whatever you want about me. She was like, but if you don't know what size shoe I wear, you don't know what size pants I got on, if you don't know where I live, if you don't know who my mama is, then you don't know me. You don't know nothing about me.
Right.
So all you can do is guess and make assumptions,
Right. Yeah. I agree. And what I love is that you still are like, because that's the thing. You can have all of that animosity, all that hatred, but you still are not bitter. You're not bitter. It allows you to do your job, and you do it so well. And maybe that's why, because that's why I was like, well, why? Like, I don't see you published everywhere. I know that you're published, but I don't see, and I when I want Max Konnor, first of all, I have to Google. And first of all, if you in the Googler schmoogler, you're famous. But then I have to actively come online and look for your page. I have to look for your page. And that's fine, because that's what I'm going to do. And I continue to do. And so will all of your followers. I adore you. When I tell you I adore you, I adore you. You have revolutionized the porn industry because, my God, I got sick and tired. I'm going to say this too. I love all Black men, but I got so sick and tired of the stick figures, because I'm not into the stick figures. I'm into big, like I need muscle. Like I tell people all the time, I'm a blouse. So I started my career as a bottom, didn't like it. I'm a blouse, so I'm an effeminate top. I need muscle, honey. Like that is what I need. And you know, the first porno I ever saw, I was 16 years old, and it was a Christian Bjorn porn. And it was Brazilian. And those men were so big and beautiful, but like you remember, like just so beautiful. And I need that. I can't listen. I can't with the, and then there's a lack of paying attention to detail. They're not manicured the right way. They don't shave the right way. You know, there's so much that needs to be done if you're going to literally have a freaking camera in your nether regions.
Yeah.
You know, some people used to get on me, like, get it. I had somebody get on me because even in my dressing, I still have hair on my legs, hair on my hands. I don't get rid of it, you know, but I manscape, but like ain't nobody been down there in 10 years. But, you know, like, but still I manscape, but I don't get rid of all of that stuff. And I made a video and I was like, I'm a top. I ain't got to worry about manicuring myself like this. Like, what are you coming at me for about my nether region? Why are you so concerned about, you know, the hair on my body? I had to get with them, but I'm not the type of person where I have a camera in my nether regions all the time. The attention, that's what I praise you for right now, because you have such an attention to detail. And I love all your co-stars. You pick very interesting co-stars, be they Caucasian, be they Latino, be they, you know, Asian. You pick very interesting boys. And I must say this, the aesthetic works because it's the big muscle Black guy and the, you know, the slender, beautiful, somewhat androgynous ingenue, you know, it works. Like that's why you keep getting paid to make them.
Yeah.
That's why you keep getting paid to make the videos.
Yeah.
It works. It works. Yeah. It's the fantasy. It's the fantasy. It really is. And I'm just, you know, I'm glad we had this conversation because it just, it gave me a chance to tell you, listen, I'm glad you're not listening to them. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Like, for real, don't listen to them, because your contributions to the world of adult film and entertainment will be remembered. Well, like literally, I think of some of the greats. And when I say greats, there are many greats. What is his name? Adam Killian, I think of. But I go back even further. I go back to Blake. Bobby Blake, you know, like I go back to them, you know, like the greats. You're in that category, and get it, you've done it better than they did.
That's, you know, I think that's what should be done. Like I always said, people was like, okay, if I leave a blueprint, I expect somebody to come along and be greater and better than me, you know, and I live for that. I live for it. Like I look at Falcon just signed Rain. I don't know if you know who Rain is.
Yes, I've seen him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's so gorgeous.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
I'm running out.
That's okay. You're in the plant room. You in the plant room. You doing this? I got to get you out of this plant room because of the pollen. But no, Rain is beautiful.
Beautiful man. So, you know, I look at him and I'm just like, okay, look at that. We hit it. So I feel, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
By me being with Falcon, getting them to you know, realize that they need to diversify their roster.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to change their image out. They're slowly trying. That's another thing people have to understand. You know, there are, you know, men of color in the industry, who
Oh,
are help facilitate change.
yes.
But it's not going to happen overnight. Because
No.
a company like Falcon has been around for 50 years. That you can't just say, okay, we're revamping everything. They've
Yeah.
been around for 50 years. So it has to be, slowly. So slowly, being in the meetings and hearing all the changes that they want to make, because Falcon is very like white muscle, clean cut type
Yeah.
of guys, but now
Yeah.
they have me, they
Yeah.
have Rain. And me and Rain are still, clean cut,
Yeah.
not very urban,
Right.
but clean cut Black men.
And I love
But
it.
they want to start getting into like, guys with tattoos, guys with long hair,
Okay.
and it'll take time, but it's interesting to see the changes that some of the studios are trying to make.
Yeah.
Even with Normal, they got
Yeah.
flack when they first started out because they weren't really holding true to what they were promising.
Yeah.
And it was more so, they were saying, "Oh, we're here to showcase Black men the way they should be showcased,"
Right.
but every scene was interracial.
Right.
So now, every scene, mostly every scene, they try to use all Black males now. It's been
It's so
harder during
sad,
COVID
though.
because they can't fly people out.
Right.
But and even listening to people talk about that and be like, "Oh, they're this, they're that." I was like, you guys aren't at the meetings where, they have all of us come on, and it was like, if any of you guys want to be behind the camera, if you want to write, if you think that our stories aren't authentically Black, they told all the models, it was like, write a script,
Yep.
bring it to us,
Yep.
we'll film it.
Yep.
Nobody does it. They're telling them, "Hey, you want to learn how to operate the camera? Come in. We'll train you how to operate the camera. You want to direct? Come in. We'll train you how to direct." People don't hear these things that happen
Right.
behind the scenes that, yeah, these are white people who made a mistake,
Yeah.
but they're actively showing it's not on purpose.
An improvement to change.
Teach us,
Yeah.
teach us how to do it,
I say this all the time. Every white person isn't bad, and every
Yeah.
Black person isn't good. And
Yeah.
that's what we need to understand. We
Yeah.
need to give each other the space and the opportunity to prove either way, whether we are bad or whether we are good.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say, you are doing an amazing job. And please do not it's like fix your crown, King, because you really are and someone's coming up right after you, D'Angelo Jackson. He's coming up right. Yes, he's coming up right after. And you've been there, and I've seen you embrace him. I've seen you embrace him. No cattiness.
I've known D'Angelo for over 11 years.
Wow.
D'Angelo, I don't know if you know this, I did porn for about 8 months, about maybe 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
Under a different name.
Okay.
I was bottom then. I was young and beautiful.
Hey, you're still young and beautiful. He talks all the time as he rubs that big muscular face. I used to be young and beautiful, and I'm over here like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a little twink then. I was a little young, fresh twink off the block.
Oh.
I needed some rent money. But D'Angelo Jackson was my first scene partner ever.
Wow.
And so that's why we have a really strong bond, and we hadn't talked for years.
Right.
And then when I started back, he messaged me. He was like, I was sitting here watching this porn, and he was like, "I just want you to know you inspire me." He was like, "Because I remember when I met you, you were this little young Black Twinkie thing." And he's like, "To see what you have," I was just like, "Oh my God."
All that muscle, you put it on.
People tell me this all the time. Like, I'll see people out and stuff, and people are just like, "Oh my God, it's Max," and blah, blah, blah. Yes. I don't see myself the way other people see me.
None of us
I'm
do.
still like this quirky You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
think that's why I can carry myself like that, and I don't let this stuff get to my head.
Yes.
Because I don't see people, I don't see myself the way other people see me.
Exactly.
So when D'Angelo was telling me this, I'm sitting here like, bitch, I look up to you.
Right.
You've been doing this way longer than I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting back into it.
That's so beautiful.
Ever since I started back when we had that conversation, he and I picked right back up where we left it. And I love him so much. And that is one man who is starting to get his flowers.
He is.
And he deserves every single petal he gets.
Yes, he does. He does. Max, give me 3 words that inspire you and empower you to be and do who you are. Be who you are and do what you do.
Integrity, positivity, and pride.
Okay, now, those are very good. Now, from the horse's mouth, please tell everyone where they can find you on social media amongst or amid the fake profiles. I'm going to put it all down. But yes.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of fake ones.
It's a lot.
On Twitter, my handle is Max Konnor XXX.
Okay.
So it's Max Konnor XXX. I do not have an Instagram.
Right.
Just because there's too many fake profiles. Just one profile on Instagram, that thing actually has some sort of ID that they use to authenticate the site, because I just can't get rid of it no matter what I try. And then I made a new I made a new Instagram account, and a day later they took mine down.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, y'all take mine down, let the fake one stay. So I'm not trying that again. So right now all I have is Twitter.
Okay.
I don't have a Facebook because people are trying to call me out on there, so I deactivated that. Oh. Yeah, and my mom and dad and all that was on there. It's like, oh girl, I gotta get rid of her.
Right. But
yeah,
you like go ahead, say something, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
No, I was gonna say my OnlyFans.
Yes,
is
that's what I was waiting for.
onlyfans.com/XL-top2.
Okay, XL top 2. Okay.
And then my just for fans is just for .fans/Max Konnor XXX.
Okay. Hold on, let me make sure I sent you your phone number so you can text me these.
The OnlyFans is XL Top because I don't know if you know this, but when I first started out, I wasn't Max Konnor.
What were
I
you?
started out as XL Top.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So when did the Max Konnor come in?
When I worked for the first studio, it was like, what do you want your name to be?
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, my name is XL Top. It's like, oh, you can't be XL because it's already an XL.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember him. I love him.
So I came up with Max Konnor in like 2 minutes on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing to tell me that. No, I just was making sure I had it so that I can get the links. Okay. But yes, like I'm glad you changed your name because look at what Max Konnor became.
Yes.
Max, like literally.
Yeah.
It's this huge skyscraper and you deserve it. You deserve all the smoke, all the flowers, everything. Like you just are amazing. And I'm so glad that we got the chance to do this.
Me too.
Yes, you are so amazing.
Thank you. You are too.
Thank you. We're just 2 Black men out here doing what we do. That's it. That's it. Making our living so we can live the way we want to. You know, God. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go nowhere yet. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Mr. Max Konnor. Before I say goodbye, tell me what your birth sign is. I didn't ask.
Scorpio.
Oh, good. Okay, Scorpio. That sexiness. All right. That fire. All right. Pincer.
Cancer.
I said pincer. I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking about the Scorpion's pincer. Yeah, but yeah, I'm a Libra. But anyway, all right. Say goodbye to the people, but don't hang out.
All right. Bye, everyone.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off.